Welcome back to the Matrix. And as in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger. Daily market news analysis. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share so other people can spam that like button. Let's get into it, y'all. As of the time of recording, Bitcoin is currently sitting at 109,642, and the sky is falling. I'm not that bullish on Bitcoin. All right, just keep it in a buck. But the RSI getting a little bit oversold on the daily. Let's go back to the 2 hour. Actually, I'm neutral. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin either. Before you get it twisted. Dang it. I hate it when I do that. There we go. All right. But yeah, still the bullish divergence is going on. We're at the bottom of the range. This I would classify as just liquidity. Like when you're on the 2 hour, you can see us pulling back, but there's lots of support over here. I don't anticipate us to go into that. But when we go on the daily, this is really just a wick, to be honest with you. And then like on the week, the body is still within the range. So that is encouraging. But what I wanted to show you was about the video that I showed earlier today. And the thing that's even more encouraging, and you might be discouraged, you might be like, Bitcoin is down 0.38%, but during the same time, Ethereum is down. I don't know what it was down today. I think it was down a decent percent today, right? Technically, it's up today. I think it's a new trading day. What was it down, though? Let me go on the daily here, because I think it was down a decent bit today, right? So Ethereum was down 7% while Bitcoin was down 2%. And you might be like, see? But Ethereum is being crushed during this dip that Bitcoin's having. Not so fast, my friend. Shout out to Lee Corso, the GOAT, right? So we can even bring this down even a little bit. Honestly, too, this is a reaccumulation pattern, by the way. But I want to show you, this is the same sort of range. We'll call it 110. We call it 112, whatever, potato. What I want to show you is not about the actual price. It's about the structure of the price. And something that is really encouraging for me for Ethereum and the altcoins right now, even though we're having a bit of a pullback. By the way, I promise you on everything, right after this live, I'm going on a buying spree. That's on everything, bro. But the thing that's very encouraging to me with Ethereum specifically, I got the wrong chart here, is right here. So we could even pull this down a little bit. When I did the first thing, when I actually made this, it was at 4,600, whatever. Again, potato. We'll call it 4,200. You know, I don't really care that much. Sure. It didn't even go to 4,200, but I don't care because the structure, it got to 4,350, but we're going to just call it 4,200. Oh my God. But the structure is more important. Look at this. These are the same dates here. We have the first time Bitcoin gets into that $110 range, $110,000 range. The second time Bitcoin gets in that 110,000, you got 112, whatever. Structure, not the exact wicks. And then the third time, it's in the same range. But what do you notice from Ethereum? Ethereum is exponentially higher the first time we were at 110,000, right? Not that long ago, a month ago. Literally a month ago today, August 25th, July 25th. So a month ago, even with the pullback where we're at right now, Ethereum is up 50% higher when Bitcoin was at the same exact price. And you guys are getting caught up, not you guys specifically, but a lot of people on Crypto Talk and Twitter, Crypto Twitter, are just, you got your hands all up in the Kool-Aid and you got the wrong flavor. You don't understand the bigger picture as to what is taking place. The bigger picture is what is taking place is literally every domino that we have been talking about for months and months and months is here. What was the first domino? The first domino was Bitcoin getting to $118,000. Checkaroo. The second domino was Ethereum catching up and Bitcoin Dominance falling off a cliff. I haven't checked on Bitcoin Dominance in a little bit. Let's take a look. Oh, that's right. Falling off of a cliff here. Full on bearish posture on the 5 hour, which is a bear market for Bitcoin Dominance. And probably tomorrow, or maybe by Wednesday at the latest, this is going to cross the 100 moving average. The light blue is going to cross the dark blue, which is the 200. That will put Bitcoin Dominance in the most bearish posture. Now, if you think it's going to be easy, if you think there's not going to be any shakeouts along the way, and it's just going to be a nice simple transition, it will not be. Sorry to get your hopes up. If you think that there will not be emotional warfare, sorry to get your hopes up. But that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. I'm seeing that also with XRP. What have we been talking about for months? We've been talking about how the money flow goes. This is it. I wish it wasn't this simple. This is the roller coaster ride, which is crypto. It goes from fiat to Bitcoin. That's been the last 2-3 years. We've been on that ride. Bitcoin has done a 7x from the bottom. Okay? Just last month, Ethereum was at $3,000 and we were pumped. And now we're going to cry about a 7% pullback when it's 50% higher when Bitcoin was at the same price? Not me. Not I. So we're clearly in this stage of the game right now. It goes from fiat to Bitcoin to Ethereum, XRP, to the large caps, to the mid caps, to the small caps, to the micro caps, back to fiat. That's how it goes. We are clearly here. Do you know how I know we're clearly here? Ethereum is 50% higher. 50%. Do you understand? I know that we're so spoiled in crypto. Do you understand that 50% would cost you approximately 7 or 8 years of working, going to your job, contributing like a good little noodle to your 401k, putting in your 40 hours, typing in your corporate emails? Well, Bob, I didn't like how you did. Doing all that for 40 hours every week, getting your 2 weeks of paid vacation. Well, I got good benefits here, Jim. For 7 years. That is what Ethereum has done while Bitcoin is still ranging. Like, I've been talking about this for years. Literal years. I said Bitcoin would go first, then it's going to range, then the altcoins are going to catch up. Here we are, doing exactly that. Like, I would implore you, I would encourage you not to get caught up in the emotional swings, the ebbs and flows that happen literally every day. Every day, I promise you. Every day, one crypto will be up 10% / down 10%. Every day, that's going to happen. Every day, that will happen. But it's important to see the bigger picture as to what is actually taking place here. And what is actually taking place is everything that we have marked out, charted out for months. By the way, when we was at 75K and I said we would go to 118,000, that's what I was saying. Bitcoin's going to go to 118. It's going to range. It's going to chop. Those were my calls at 75K. That's what I said was going to happen. And then Ethereum would catch up. I don't know if you know this or not. That is what Ethereum has done. All right, so that's my update. We are here. And I would encourage you to have a plan. And stick to your plan. Sometimes less is more. You don't need to push. Okay? Just DCA into your fundamental projects. And with that, let's get into your guys' questions, comments, concerns. We'll start it off on YouTube, and then I'll go switch over to TikTok. Is this the do-over, or is he late? I showed up late, and I'm on time. Yeah, I was having issues with my computer. I had to restart it. Crybabies will be removed. Let's go, Ski. V-Chain TA, please. I got you, bro. Everything is on sale today. Preach. Is redemption HR for today. Redemption is HR. And if you listen, if you think HR is on your side, they are not. He is not. He's not on your side. He has the best interests of the company. Report your boss if you want to. You're getting fired. And you might think, well, I have an actual claim. The more legitimate your claim is to HR, the more likely you're getting put on the chopping block. All right? All right, let's look at the TikTok. First, finally, patiently waiting for VeChain. Save a ski. Yo, 102K. After the bull market. How low can ETH go? It's up 50% from the last time Bitcoin was at 110K. Huge divergence on dominance. Ski, hello, the bottom in. What is fiat? Fiat is dollars or euros. Government money. Fiat is, okay, so the actual definition of fiat is money that's not backed. It's, okay. The actual definition of fiat currency is a currency that is not backed by anything other than your government saying it is backed. Am I peaking, by the way, guys? Am I peaking? Test, test, 1, 2, 1, 2. Do I need to turn down the mic just a bit? Good. Okay. A fiat currency is a currency that is backed by the full faith and trust of your government. Okay, so example, pre-1971, the United States, all of the money was backed by gold. And after 1971, Richard Nixon took the US dollar off of the gold standard and left us with what is called a fiat standard, which means that our dollars are not backed by anything other than the government saying that they will replace them. And, you know, this is kind of the essence and the entire point of cryptocurrency in the first place. Because since ancient Egypt, there have been 300 fiat currencies, and since ancient Egypt there have been 300 failed fiat currencies. So maybe the dollar is different. Maybe history doesn't repeat itself for the 301st time. Maybe it'll be 1 to 301. Maybe, perhaps. But they have printed 80% of all the money that has ever existed since 2020. 80% of every dollar that has ever been printed has been printed since 2020. So maybe, perhaps, the US dollar will be the one that rises above. But history would tell us no. So that's the entire point of cryptocurrency in the first place. Just grab some Dynex. I think that's a good place. Walk it off, Richard. Sounds good on YouTube. Now you good. It's fine. All good. Can we talk about a gold possible pullback? I think that that's going to happen. Hopefully that answers your question, brother. Quant. I like Quant. 300, 700, 1300. 7 years? That doesn't make a lot of sense. What are you talking about 7 years, bro? What are you talking about, brother? The Wednesday NVIDIA earnings will jumpstart crypto again. You agree, Ski? Sure. Like, whatever narrative we need to. I just see what's happening in the charts. But probably that's a good enough narrative. Like NVIDIA is closely tied to crypto for sure. Sure. Like, I just don't care about. I wish I did. I really wish I did. But I just been in this game long enough to know that I see the chicken before the egg. You know what I'm saying? Like, which came first? Was it the chicken or the egg? And I would argue the chicken was first. And to me, the charts is the same way. Show me the charts, I will tell you the news. Save a ski quant like a boss. All good. Where are we? Where are you? How much further do you think we fall? When we turn the longs back for ETH, LOL, Flux, do you think quant Bitcoin going to 95? Yeah, at some point. At some point. Sure. What I need you to understand, though, is Ethereum, like I've already outlined this. Here is Bitcoin versus Ethereum. The same dates. The first time Bitcoin was at 110, Ethereum was at 3,000. The second time Bitcoin was at 110, Ethereum was at 3,500. The third time Bitcoin was at 110, Ethereum was at 4,200. Like, sure, let's freak out about a 7% pullback and not understand a month ago Ethereum was 50% lower. Sure, we can do that. Or we can have perspective and understand what's really actually happening, what's actually taking place here. Either are fine with me, because I'm already set. Crush the like button. Bro, me, myself, and I, thank you for the 190 donation, brother. Thoughts on Flux? Flux to me is one of my, probably my favorite mid-cap coin. I still have the same targets. I appreciate the donation. I still think, 3.5. I'll give you a bunch of targets. How about that? I still think we're in accumulation here. That's what I think. We are coiling up here. So all we really need to do is get above 29 cents. That's going to put us in the most bullish posture, which is going to be amazing. Yeah. So it's still the same targets. 333, 5, 13, 20. This is a good buy here. Do you think 2.65 good limit by XRP for the market right now? Is $2.65 a good limit order for XRP? I don't know that we're going to get that. Man, I don't want to say like, oh, this is the last shakeout before the breakout. I don't want to be that guy. But by golly, it's pretty damn close. Like, where are we at right now? 288. Same thing is true for Ethereum, by the way. So, no, I'm not going to say that. Because, like, if I outline the same thing, I did the same thing for my XRP update. If you outline XRP over top of Bitcoin during the same pullbacks, you can see XRP isn't as egregious. Like, it's super obvious with XRP. My God. My brain has officially left the station here. It's super obvious with Bitcoin. Bro, it is super obvious with Ethereum. Right? It's very obvious with Ethereum that if Ethereum is 50% higher than the first time we were at the same level. Okay? Let's just circle these dates here so we can see. Where are we at? Let's just do we'll circle these dates so we can see. There's this one. There is this one right here. And then there is this one right here. Okay. So these are the same dates that we have for Bitcoin every time it pulls to 110. XRP, the first time was at 270. The second time was at 280. And the third time is at 288. So not as egregious as Ethereum, but I don't think 280 is getting taken out. No, I don't think so. Like, what did we even wick to? 282? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so. Brainsky has left the chat. Do you class VeChain as a mid cap? No, I would class it as a large cap. Where do you see Solnic this cycle? 7.5 cents bare bones. That's my beard bet. My targets are 10 cents, $1, $5.89. Those are my targets for Solnic. Someone asked me, you think we have similar pullbacks in September before going parabolic in November? Yes, I do. But here's what I think is actually going to happen. Like, I'll just outline it for Ethereum, and then you can kind of like, you know, Ethereum is basically the same chart as the total 2 right now. So it's basically going to be the same market in a lot of ways. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think Ethereum is going to, it just like barely just the tip made an all-time high the other day, right? Just the tip made an all-time high. Technically, it took out the previous all-time high over here just slightly, right? Here's what I think is going to happen. By the way, this is just a higher low after, again, how many times have we talked about this? How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? How many times have we talked about this? That it's super rare the first time, the second time, or even the third time you attempt to make an all-time high that you actually break above it. I have lots of evidence that you get rejected many, many times before you actually break out. Okay, we've talked about that ad nauseum. In fact, I'm sick of talking about it. Don't bring it up again. I brought it up. Okay, what I think is actually going to happen, though, what I learned in boating school is what I think is actually going to happen. You guys wasn't ready for a SpongeBob reference, was you? I think that not only is it going to make an all-time high, like this was technically an all-time high for Ethereum, I think it's going to like properly make an all-time high between now and the rate cuts. So we're talking about a 25% move, 5,500. Like a proper, undeniable all-time high. Maybe as high as 5,800. Somewhere between 5,500 and 5,800 between now and the rate cuts, which is September 17th. And then I think we're going to have a correction upwards of 20%. Which again would be a higher low. Okay? And people are going to freak out. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. Sitting here looking at... I look like a crazy person. My hair is coming undone. Sitting here looking at 4,300, we're going to go up to 5,500 or 5,800, and then we're going to pull back 20%. And people, again, verily, verily, I say unto you, again, are not going to have the perspective that we were just at 4,300. Just like right now, presently sitting at 4,300, we don't have the perspective that we were just at 3,300. Just like when we were at 3,300, we didn't have the perspective that we were just at 2,100. How long ago was that? 2 years ago? 2 decades ago? 20 months ago? How long ago? Oh, right. 2 months ago. We was at $2,100. And we're going to freak out about a 7% pullback. I'm telling you right now, Ethereum is most likely going to go into price discovery, 5,500. A proper all-time high. And then we're going to pull back 20%. It's going to be a back test of the prior range. It's going to be a back test of the all-time high, maybe slightly lower, and people are going to lose their minds. Just like they are today. Just like they are today. You heard it here first from Chat You Betcha. And then, and then it's all part of my plan. And then what? My target is 7,200. Here's what I think is the deal. Okay, like if you missed the entire like point steak dinner might not be happening. Oh, how the price changes how we feel about crypto. If price is up, we feel amazing. High fives all around. Steak dinners all around. If price is down, we feel terrible. This is the worst. We got rugged. There's no crying in the casino, okay? All right. So somebody says, and then, all right, here's my entire like macro thesis, okay? This is not tomorrow. This is not next week. But what I have been talking about for months, if not years. Okay? Here's the macro, like brass tacks, what's happening and what's going to happen. And I have been talking about this for months and months, if not years. Okay, I have been talking about very first. Now, I've made this chart recently, but I've talked about this ad nauseum. The money flow chart. How money flows. Okay? Number one, this is the roller coaster ride, which is cryptocurrency. From fiat, which is dollars, to Bitcoin. That is the longest part of the roller coaster ride. And I kept saying the first part of the show is going to be all about Bitcoin. That's what it was. That's what it's been. By the way, every cycle has been like that. I will show you evidence, but from the C19 crash until January 6, 2021, Bitcoin did a 10x. Every single altcoin was at its bear market lows. Every stinking one of them was at their bear market lows. January 6th, 2021. Okay? So this is like, you know, you're riding the roller coaster. That's the longest part of the ride. Okay? So we've been talking about this entire flow for this entire point. And then I said, Bitcoin, the first thing that needs to happen, I was talking about this a lot at 75K when I said that the bottom was in, that Bitcoin would go to 118,000. That's the first critical level because that puts Bitcoin in price discovery. Now, for simple terms, price discovery is essentially, if we're talking about it in terms of roller coaster, we've started to rotate. Okay, we started to rotate into the next part of the ride. Okay, just for simple, unnerdy terms, and I can explain it nerdy, but we're going to explain it simply so everyone can understand what we're talking about here. Bitcoin getting into price discovery, which the specific number was 118, that is like us starting to go over the top of the funnest part of the ride. Okay, now when you just start to go, that's Bitcoin going into Ethereum and XRP. Now, what did I lead off the show with? I talked about how Bitcoin has interacted with the bottom of the range. Okay, I have them circled right here. Okay, so keep the money flow in your mind. The first part is fiat into Bitcoin. Yep. The second part is Bitcoin into Ethereum. And people are so distracted by a 7% pullback. Mind you, Ethereum is up 50% in the last month. Not only that, but we have data evidence that what I was talking about is happening currently, presently, right now. Not now, but right now. Not now. Say it in the chat. Not now, but right now. Say in the chat right now. When's it happening? Right now. Let's pull up Ethereum. All right. We have the exact same date circled here. You can see the three. Let's line it up perfectly. We're going to make it simple so everyone can see. I don't want to be like, you know, I don't need to be the most fanciest, but I'm going to keep it simple so the most amount of people can understand what the hell is happening here. Okay? Is that good with everybody? Can we keep it simple? All right. So we have the same date. The first time Bitcoin's at 110, 110, Ethereum is at $3,000. That was a month ago. Not a year ago. Not a decade. A month ago. Okay, cool. Bitcoin goes up to 122,000. Crashes. Oh my God, the sky's falling. Back to 110 again. And Ethereum crashes back to 3,500. How long ago was that? Oh yeah, 2 weeks ago. Not 2 months ago, not 2 years ago. 2 weeks ago that happened. Hey, remember that time? Oh yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. Great. Then Bitcoin again goes to the top of the range again. This time it got to 124 and pulls back even further to 110 again. And Ethereum pulls back to where? Oh, right. 4,200. Not even. I'm rounding down. It really came to 4,350. I'm rounding down. Do you understand that 4,200 is more than 50% higher than what it was a month ago? So what does this tell you? We're rotating into Ethereum where Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, now, what I also talked about was during the same time, Bitcoin Dominance was going to... I was one of the first people. In fact, I was a little bit early. I had... This is distribution to me for Bitcoin Dominance. I had the buying climax, the up thrust. I had this mark right here as the UTAD. And let me show you what the UTAD is real quick. Okay, so what I'm talking about is Wyckoff distribution, which is a topping structure. All right, I need to take full accountability. This is what a top looks like. You have your buying climax, the up thrust goes higher than the buying climax, the UTAD goes higher than the up thrust. I need to take full accountability. Okay, I was, in fact, wrong. I had this as the UTAD, which is the highest point. Bitcoin Dominance actually went up another 1%. So I missed it by 1% in 45 days. So I apologize. I take accountability. I missed the top by 1%. But then we crossed and we have taken out critical levels, lower lows, lower highs, literally falling off of a cliff. Why is it falling off a cliff? Because Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. Okay. Now, another thing that I've been talking about is posture. Okay. And we'll just do Bitcoin real quick. Okay. This is something I teach on my Patreon and my members. This right here is the most bullish posture. When you have this posture on the daily, you are in a bull market. What is the posture? 200, the dark blue, the light blue, the orange, and the red. That is a bull market. As long as you have this posture, you are in a bull market. Okay? And when you have the opposite posture, you're in a bear market. 200 on top, then 100, then 50, then 20. Okay, so we flipped March 10th, 2023, when Bitcoin was at 20K. We flipped, and we have been in a bull market ever since then. By the way, we're not even close right now. We're not even close to flipping. Not even close. Not even close. Okay? Now, why is this important? Tomorrow or Wednesday, Bitcoin Dominance is going to flip officially. And it is going to officially be in a bear market. Now, what does that mean? What are we seeing? Bitcoin is rising. Bitcoin Dominance is falling. Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. XRP is outperforming Bitcoin. What does that mean? Okay, well, it means that we are clearly right here. Okay, and as the ride goes, the more crazy the ride gets and the faster the ride goes. Do you understand that this part is going to be faster than this part? Right? Can everyone gets that, right? When you ride a roller coaster, this part right here is slower than this part. Right? Everyone got that, right? Okay, cool. That's how this market goes. Boom, boom, boom. These are going to be faster. This is where we're at. That's the next thing. By the way, every shift is going to be met with a dip. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple examples too, real quick. My God, bro. I am just dropping that heat on y'all tonight. Come on now. All right. Listen, here is the nonsense narrative. From this moment in time, from the C19 crash until Bitcoin, the previous time, goes into price discovery, Bitcoin did a 10x. I have yet to find a coin that was not at its bear market lows January 6, 2021. Right here. Ethereum. Let's just show it. We don't need to talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's go on the daily. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Shout out to football season. Right here. All right. So Bitcoin does a 10x from the same time, right? What do we notice about Ethereum? Is Ethereum going parabolic here? Does this look parabolic to you? Is this your man? That's my man. Is that your man? Does that look parabolic to you? Let me know. Or does this look parabolic? Here's the date. This is Ethereum. This isn't some microcap shitcoin. This is Ethereum. But last time, Ski, I swore that when Bitcoin went up, everything was going up. No. Wrong. Now, from this moment, Bitcoin only does a 50% move. That is it. Ethereum, from that moment, does a 5x. Now, do I think Ethereum's going to do a 5x this time? No, I don't. But we need to understand posture and structure. Posture and structure. Also, like while we're at it, I need y'all to understand there is almost no asset that breaks the all-time high the first time around. The second time around. It doesn't happen. All right, so here's Bitcoin. Here's the all-time high. What happens? Rejection, 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 and then finally breaks above. How about right here? All-time high, rejection, rejection, finally breaks above. Okay, like you don't find moments where it's just you just rip right through it. It doesn't happen. Look right here, all-time high. Previous all-time high right here. What do you see? Rejection, rejection, finally breaking above. I have yet to find an asset that rips above the all-time high the first time. I don't. It doesn't happen. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Oh, it's a head and shoulders. We're going lower. Look at that head and shoulders. Come on. What happened? Come on. All right. Why am I saying that? That's where Ethereum's at right now. Ethereum's trying to get above an all-time high. It just tipped above the all-time high. And what happened? It got rejected. Because that's common structure. Right meow. All right. I'm trying to watch your live on TikTok, but nothing comes up. I'm live on TikTok, bro. At Skis Crypto. Time to buy a bunch. What would you explain Rose being below bear market lows? Brother. Okay, let's do it then. Come on. All right. Let's do it again. All right, so we got the same dates, right? January 6, 2021. Let's look at, what should we look at? H-bar. I got it. I should have H-bar up here. What do you notice about H-bar? Like, where is H-bar at? H-bar went on to do a 40x from here during the same time. How about, what's another one? What's another good one? I think Dogecoin is a good example, actually. Like, brother, our feelings is not the reality of what took place. Everything was at their bear market lows, either near it, below it, or slightly above it. I have yet to find a coin that I've been searching far and wide. I have yet to find a coin that existed in 2021 that was not at its bear market lows, below its bear market lows, or near its bear market lows. I have yet to find a coin. Here's Dogecoin. Here's the same date. Why do I have them circled? Why? Because I've been searching far and wide for any coin that wasn't at its bear market lows. Any coin. Any coin. They don't exist. There was nothing that was pumping before Bitcoin went into price discovery. Nothing. How about DOT? But it's below its bear market lows. Nothing. You get nothing. You lose. DOT went on to do a 1.1 million% gain from there. But it's below its bear market lows, Ski. Oh. Like, I have yet to find a coin. I have yet to find a coin. I have yet to find a coin that was not at, that existed in 2021, that was not at its bear market lows, near its bear market lows, or below its bear market lows. All right. Here's Hex. There's the date. January 6th, 2021. We got it? Cool. Here's the end of the story. No big deal. I don't even see that. Like, what are some other coins that we can look at? I have yet to find a coin that was not at its bear market lows, near its bear market lows, or slightly above that existed in 2021, but during the same time that Bitcoin was in price discovery. They do not exist. Why? Here's Solana below its bear market lows. Solana below its bear market lows. Below. Look at that. Downtrend. Below bear market lows. Look at that. Below. The lowest point that Solana got ever in the history of ever was when Bitcoin was at price discovery. It was at $1. Below, not above, not near, below bear market lows. Below it. It went on to do a 540,000% gain. No big deal. XRP. All right, sure. Let's look at XRP. And then I'm going to move on. Listen, you don't trust me, but trust that I've done the research. I've done the homework. There's nothing. It doesn't exist, okay? XRP. Bear market lows. You understand? What is the price? Actually, let's go to the price. That's going to be a better chart. Here we go. Bear market lows. XRP was at 23 cents. Who would be happy with the 23-cent XRP price right now? Let me know. Like, it was only lower than that for like a month out of the whole bear market. So there you go. All right. BNB. Do you have a price target? Ondo. 882468. Theta, he's not reading the comments. Theta what? You want the Theta will at least 30x. It could. Try Theta coin. Okay, let's do Theta coin. Theta coin actually might be a good example. Here you go. Like, look at that. I've already done Theta. You see how, like, I have a circle here? That's because I already know. Theta coin, after Bitcoin goes into price discovery, that's an important distinction. Does a 16x from here. Good day, sir. Jambi saying everything's at bear market lows. Yes. Like, please tell me a single coin in 2021 when Bitcoin was at price discovery. January 6, 2021. That's when Bitcoin was in price discovery. Any coin that was at an all-time high. Any coin. Any coin. Not named USDT, not named USDC, not any stable coin. Ethereum was at bear market low. Nothing. Right? That's the difference between a trader and someone who understands the actual market. There is not a coin January 6, 2021, when Bitcoin had already done a 10x that was not at its bear market lows. We make things too complicated. But in reality, this is it. We want to show everybody how smart we are as content creators. This is it. Take a screenshot. This is the roller coaster ride of crypto. It's as simple as that. We make things way too complicated. This is how money flows. That's it. Quant 300, 700, 6, 1300. It says yes, but 2021 with inflation, money printing was different. Was it? Was it though? In 2020, the inflation, hold on. In 2020, the inflation was $10 trillion. Okay? It's $37 trillion today. I know for a fact when Biden took over, it was $20 trillion. It's 37 trillion. Biden took over in 2021. It's 37 trillion. Do you understand? 80% of all the money that has ever been printed in the history of ever has been printed. Get out of here. Since, oh my Lord. Since 2020. 80% of all of the money that has ever been printed in the history of ever has been printed since 2020. So is it different? Like, we have this idea that they have stopped printing money. I have news for you. They have not. We're just not getting it. They're not stimulating the economy with the money printing. The money printing has not stopped. I assure you. They continue to raise the debt ceiling. What is that doing? That's diluting the dollar. This number, every stinking president since Clinton, Bill Clinton, William Clinton, did not have fornication. Since Bill Clinton, every single one of them has doubled the debt. Every Republican has doubled the debt. Every Democrat has doubled the debt. No, it's worse. You're right. It's not the same as 2020. It is worse. It is, in fact, double. Thanks, Trump, for that. Yeah, like, think all of them. All of them do it. Republicans double the debt. Democrats double the debt. Guess what all politicians like to do? They like to spend money and then blame it on the other one. I have an idea. Like, be your own hero and don't rely on a politician to save you. Save yourself, because no one's coming for you, boo-boo. You got to pull your own hand up. Ain't nobody coming for you. Be your own hero. Ain't nobody coming for you. Even the Honorable Bill Clinton. Oh, God. What have I done? What have I done? You still have the same targets for Solnick? I do. Flux predictions 3, 5, 13. Where did you buy Bitcoin at? It depends on your time horizon. Like, Bitcoin almost, to me, is almost a different category, to be honest with you. I personally save my money in Bitcoin. So if that's what you're doing, like, I think it's always a good price to buy Bitcoin. For an investment, though, for the next, like, 12 months, I don't think Bitcoin is the play, to be honest with you. Now, if you're buying for the next 10 years, the next 5 years, Bitcoin's the play, right? Save your money in Bitcoin, forget about it. But that's a different thing than trying to accumulate as much money over the next 12, 18 months. I don't think that Bitcoin is going to perform the highest over the next 12 months. I do not think that. I think that Bitcoin goes to 138,000 is the highest probability. We're talking about a 20% move, right? The stock market might do that, to be honest. A good year in the stock market will do that. But, you know, when we look back 5 years from now, we're going to be kicking ourselves that we didn't have more Bitcoin at 109,000. So it just depends on your time horizon. If your time horizon is like you're trying to save for retirement, it's just always a good time to buy Bitcoin. If you're trying to, you know, preserve your wealth with having upside ROI gains, it's always a good time to buy Bitcoin. If you're trying to maximize the next 12 months, 18 months, I don't think it's the time for Bitcoin. Sounds like it's on purpose to me, doubling the debt on 100%. It 100%. Like, listen, here's something. Here's like, here's the medicine with no sugar. Okay. Here's the medicine with no sugar. Let's go back to 2020, by the way. So I'm speaking facts. Okay, so it's 26 trillion in 2020. Right? How about 2016? 15 trillion. Right? How about 2012? How about 2008? 10 trillion. How about 2004? 7. Right? It keeps exponentially going up, and like this idea that we're ever going to pay off our debt, it's not happening. What? Okay. This is a whole different conversation here. The governments will never pay off debt. Never. They are incentivized to print more money because if they dilute the supply, if they dilute the value of what it is that they owe, what is actually happening is they're paying off debt. Okay, it's hard to think about this. I'm going to think about it like this, okay? Let's think about it like this. Let's say, this is like way oversimplified, right? Let's say $1 equals $1, right? Everybody with me? Okay, cool. And then let's say I owe you $100. I borrowed $100 from you. Okay? $1 is $1. But now I come in and I just double the circulating supply. Let's say all of the money that exists is $1,000, right? All of the money that exists in circulation is $1,000. $1 equals $1. I owe you $100. But now let's say I come in and I just double this for funsies, and I make this $2,000. I still owe you $100, but now $1 does not equal $1. $1 equals 50 cents. So I effectively, even though practically I have not paid anything to this, I effectively have paid off half of my debt. That is the game that the government is playing. When they owe $1 zillion to China, if they dilute the supply by 50%, they're paying off their debt without actually paying it off. This is not going to stop. This is only going to exponentially ramp up. I have to admit, I'm sick of others doing nothing good. The beatings will continue until morale is improved. DOT targets 20, 40, 100. What do we got here? What's your prediction for Solnick by November? My predictions for Solnick by the end of the bull market is 10 cents, $1, $5.89. ICP targets 20, 40, 100. Who runs the US deck clock though? I'm not sure. When is $1 not $1? Okay, let me ask you. I have kids. I have 3 kids. I promise you on everything. On everything. In 2019, I would go to the grocery store. I would cook my wife steak once a week. A nice steak. We would have a date night at home once a week. I would cook her steak every Wednesday. We ate very good. 3 kids and a wife and a husband. Our budget to eat all organic, very clean food, having a nice steak, maybe some wine, was $150 a week. Today, my budget for the same family. Now, my boys are older. They eat a little bit more. Sure. I don't have steak once a week. I don't have wine as much as I used to. Is $350 per week. It's only 5 years. So when is $1 not $1? That's when $1's not $1. Now, I know they told us. I know that they told us that inflation was 8% in 2022, but I promise you my food bill doubled. I promise you on everything, my food bill doubled. So that's when $1's not $1. Today. When do you think the bull run ends? Late 2025, early 2026. V-chain targets 20, 40, 60, 100, 20, 40, 60 cents. Solnic seems to be one of the best plays this cycle. I think so. Solnic is my number one 100x play, period. Have you charted Bitcoin? I have. Based on your Bitcoin predictions, what do you think the range for Meister is? Listen, I don't do okay. Listen, I know. All right, I'll tell you what. If I can find a Meister market cap, I don't care. I don't know about the price because they can just dilute the supply. Like, I don't know what their stock splits are. I don't know anything about their tokenomics. It's not even called tokenomics. Yeah. I don't know what they've diluted the supply to. You know what I mean? But, you know, I could pull a fib off of this. Like, this is parabolic, I can tell you that much. Like, just looking at it. I can tell you right now it's at the 3618. Or the 4236, and it is. Look. In my opinion, this is the early stages of distribution. That's what I think. Fibonacci's don't work, but like, how did I know that this was at the 3618? This is early stages of distribution, in my opinion. This went to the 4236. That's maximum parabolic. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's got to get below the 200. But like, I think that's indicative of Bitcoin. Like, I don't think Bitcoin's going to perform that well from here. I think Bitcoin goes to 138 from here. I'm calling local bottom. It very well could be. Can you rechart Bitcoin? Okay. Bitcoin is just at the bottom of the range. Okay, my analysis for Bitcoin is like, it's already proper value for me was 118. Okay, for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just in a range right now, and that's it. Like, there's nothing sexy going on with Bitcoin. It's still in the most bullish posture. I am neither bearish for Bitcoin nor am I bullish. I think that Bitcoin is going to range. That's it. I don't think Bitcoin performs that well from here. What I think is going to happen, what I've been talking about happening for literally months, is Bitcoin's going to actually rotate into altcoins. And we're seeing that. You know how I know that we're seeing it is because I have these 3 dates circled, and Ethereum, every time Bitcoin has went to the bottom of the range, is significantly higher than the last time. So Bitcoin's been ranging basically for the last month. And Ethereum, I have the same date circled. It was at 3,000. What goes up to 122, pulls back to 110, 3,500, goes up to 122, pulls back to 110, 4,200. Not even. I'm exaggerating. I'm literally exaggerating. It only went to 4,350. So, like, what I've been talking about for months and months is happening right before our eyes, and people are freaking out about a 7% correction on Ethereum. Meanwhile, it's up 50% over the last 30 days. So my analysis on Bitcoin is like, the second that Bitcoin went from 75K, like when I was on it. Listen, I promise you, on everything, bro, I was beating the drum that Bitcoin was value. Bottoms in, boys, April 7th, 75K. What was the target that I kept calling for? Was 118,000. Now that we're here, I'm not going to move the goalpost and act like it's just going to moon. Like, it might go to 207. Maybe. I think the highest probability is 138, but I legitimately do not, I am not bullish or bearish on Bitcoin at this point. So 138 from here is 25%. 207 from here is a 89% move. That's what I think is left for Bitcoin. But what I've been talking about all night is when Bitcoin went into price discovery over here, which was January 6, 2021. Bitcoin did a 10x. Very similar. Bitcoin has done a 7x from the bottom. From this moment, Bitcoin only does another 50% move. That's what I think is going to happen. Somewhere between 25% and 89%. But all of this, little bit of gains on Bitcoin, that's when the magic was on everything else. Here we are again. And what are we seeing? Like, Ethereum clearly is doing it. Undeniable. Would you DCA now or wait for a lower entry? I promise you, right after this live stream, I'm going on a buying streak. I promise you. I said that at the beginning of the live stream. I would have got a better price if I would have just, like, delayed the live stream by 15 minutes, but I care about y'all. My VeChain targets are still the same. Jasmine 10, 11, 12. Algo 2, 4, 8. Best lives on TikTok by far. Rose and Algo. I like both Rose and Algo. Targets for Solana 420, 510, 600. What AI coin outside of Flux do you like? Dynex, DNX. All right, guys. That is going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys keep asking me what am I going to buy. My number 100x play is Solnic. I'll give you 3. I'll give you a low cap favorite, a medium cap favorite, and a large cap favorite. Okay, my favorite large cap right now is VeChain. I have a long already. I'm going to add to that position. My favorite medium cap is Flux. My favorite low cap is Solnic. All right, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Be a big boy or girl. Have responsibility for your own actions. But that's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. At your boy Ski. Or at Gajeski on Twitter, I think. Gajewskey. That's where the name Ski comes from. I'm Polish. Ha! You didn't know. If you guys want help setting up an entry strategy, maybe you got some money on the sidelines, that is something that I can help you with. Hit me in the DMs for that. If you want to do a portfolio review, one-on-one consultation, lifetime access to my course, my Telegram group where I put out all of my trades anytime I buy or sell. Hit me in the DMs for that. I will never message you first. If you message me, I will message you back. But I am never going to message you and say, how is your trading going? I do not care. Okay? Listen, I do care, but I want to show you guys. Here's my phone. Let's see if it'll focus. Nope. You're just going to take my word for it. Bro, focus. Whatever. I have 276 missed calls. Okay, I have 492 missed text messages. I'm not messaging you first. I promise you. I promise you. That is somebody from Pakistan or Kakistan or Afghanistan or Turkestan. It is not me. I'm not going to ask you how your trading is going. I'm not. All right? I love you. I'm not going to message you first and say, how's your trading going? For the love of God. I have too much stuff going on. All right? I love you. Hopefully it goes well. I'd love to teach you how to fish, but I'm not going to ask you how it's going. All right? I got too much stuff going on. All right. I'll be live tomorrow, probably about 5 p.m. Central Time. Be there, be square. I'll put it out on my Instagram. I'll try to put out an hour on the Telegram and Instagram and TikTok stories before I go live, so you guys have a heads up. Be there, be square. If you're square, you're not around. But that's going to be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.